Welcome to another CEO Wisdom Pod with Sebastian Barajas Caseni. Sebas is CEO and founder at Ubiqum. It's a cool training company for developers. Like we had the Treehouse CEO last year, sort of like that. They have various programs, for example, data and analytics and machine learning, which must be quite trending nowadays. Full stack web development and mobile development. They have more than 4,000 alumni, so that's quite significant as I'm seeing on LinkedIn. And cool company. Sebas is in Barcelona. I am in Oaxaca, Mexico, and we're gonna have fun today talking about anything from AI, machine learning, how humans learn. Sebas has an interesting background, which we're gonna discuss as well today. This podcast is presented by podfire.com. If you want to start and scale your own podcast, go to podfire.com. Sebastian, welcome to the pod. Tell me a bit more about yourself, your background, and what you're up to nowadays.
Thank you, Charles, and thank you for inviting me and having me in your podcast. Well, what can I tell you? So you see that I am not a young person anymore, although my spirit is very young still, like what I was 4 years ago when I started my professional career. And in this I wouldn't say last period professional phase, but now I am very focused on helping people in general. I like to help people, right? So I've learned a lot, I think, over my years, and now I think I can give back part of my experience. And in Ubiqum is a code academy, and what we help people is to reskill themselves. We like to say to help them in their personal digital transformation. Okay, so companies are in a corporate digital transformation, and they are implementing technology, very deep implementation of technology everywhere, pervasive technology. And not everybody or every company is really helping people to keep up with the pace of change, right? And to allow people to learn the digital skills that they need to thrive in this world. And this is what we do. So we have two fields of practice. One is software engineering, the other one is data analytics. And we have programs where we train people for them to develop the right skills they need for their jobs.
Very cool. You started developing advanced financial softwares in the 80s. So you witnessed also the dot-com boom and bust. You worked at Anderson Consulting, which got acquired by Accenture. Then you were at Deloitte. So like you said, you've lived a lot. What have you learned from all of these years on planet Earth?
Oh, that's a very open question. Well, when I started in my professional career, we were honestly 3, 4. At the end, we were 5 young people in our mid-20s that we met together and started a company and started developing software at the level that software was developed in the 80s. Right. And at that time, we were not called entrepreneurs because this name didn't exist. But we did something like that. And after the years, what I really realized is that developing things, so designing things and developing things is something that I love. I mean, it's what I really like. And this is one thing that I've learned. Then the company that we founded was acquired by Arthur Andersen, Andersen Consulting. That's the story, right? Arthur Andersen, Andersen Consulting, Accenture. And in Andersen Consulting, I learned a lot about how large corporations work, right? Because we were a small company in Spain in the 80s, that life was very different from what we can see today. I mean, 40 years ago, Spain and the United States, for example, were very, very different. So we were a poor country, and joining an American company and having the opportunity to travel for the United States for me was something really very good. I mean, I discovered a complete new world of management, of corporations, of doing things in a very high professional level. But then I realized that the corporate world was not what I really liked, right? So I like to do things by myself and not be very tight with corporate rules and corporate policies and politics, both. So I left and I started doing other things. In Anderson Consulting, I met Roger Shank, who's been Roger passed away almost 1 year ago in 2023, but Anderson founded the Institute for the Learning Sciences in Northwestern University in Chicago and was led by Roger Shank, and I had the opportunity to meet him and to see what they were doing. The idea was Roger came from Yale, the artificial intelligence lab in Yale, and moved into learning science. So he was one of the pioneers in cognitive science and artificial intelligence, and then he realized that everything he knew about how the mind works was not really applied to education. I mean, education has its own rules that are completely different from how our mind really works. And in this Institute for the Learning Sciences in Chicago, Northwestern University, he and his team developed a lot of models, theories, concepts, prototypes about how to apply technology to help people learn better, right? And I discovered another passion here. So this is something that from then on I started following in different ways. But that is the kernel of the departing point when we founded Ubiqum was based on everything we had done before in learning and in learning sciences and cognitive psychology. So what we do now at Ubiqum is to apply a lot of science in our learning processes to help people really learn deep and long-lasting skills from the learning by doing process that we really apply.
Right. And your current company, you're training folks to become coders. Nowadays, there's been COVID. That's been a significant event. A lot of people are now working from home. There's been the advent of ChatGPT that changed the whole game, and how business is conducted nowadays. How's Ubicum adapting to that?
Well, we had a serious setback with COVID, right? Because we were very focused on physical campus, and we had open campus in Barcelona, in Berlin, Amsterdam, Madrid, and Lisbon, these 5 cities in Europe. And obviously, to keep a physical campus in those cities is expensive. And when COVID and the confinement came, so we were forced to close down the campus because we couldn't allow people to come physically, right? We had to move online, and it was a huge. We were not prepared for that, and it was a real setback. And then we pivoted, and we have pivoted in different ways. But one is moving from basically on campus to basically online. Now we are promoting a lot of online because our way of working, our methodology is very well adapted to the online mode. Okay, because we don't have people listening passively for hours to another teacher when it's whatever lecturing or in streaming or live, but you are passively listening, which is very boring. So our project-based approach is very good for people to work from home, like if they were working in their jobs. This is one, and the other one is we have changed our target market from these young people around 25 years old that are a little bit lost in life and they want to start a career in technology, which is where most of our competitors are now focused, and we are aiming to professionals that they are employed, they are happy with their jobs and their professional careers, but they want to add these digital skills to their knowledge base because their companies are in this digital transformation, and to keep up with what the company is doing or to thrive in their careers, they need this. And the online part-time courses are our main focus today.
Right. And you're dealing with all of these young people. Do you feel that their lost in lifeism will continue that way? Because I remember like starting out in the market was so hard to get in because I was just not trained for that. I was trained to be a good drunk idiot, you know? That's pretty much what I was doing. And in high school and college and university, I was a social animal, yes, but I didn't know nothing about this market. I didn't know about product market fit and all that useful stuff. You know, I really wish entrepreneurship would have been in my life earlier on. And now there's AI. AI is drastically outpacing a bunch of folks. I know it because I fired all my team last year. And I used to rely on humans. Now I'm relying on this digital advisors that can create ideas to me. I mean, I'm at some level in entrepreneurship, and I wouldn't advise most folks to do that, but it seems that the bar keeps getting higher for these young people. So how should they adapt to AI? And what would be the next 10 years in terms of job opportunities in this market with the advent of AI?
That's a very good question, and I've been thinking about that a lot. Even I published 2 days ago an article in my LinkedIn newsletter. It's in Spanish, but I think it can be translated about first how intelligent is AI really, and secondly, if AI will really jeopardize our jobs. But the point is, I think that AI is a very powerful tool, honestly. But AI is not that intelligent. And if I think about the programs that we developed in the 80s when we were developing accounting systems or invoicing systems or payroll systems, these type of things that were substituting a lot of clerks doing paperwork and using a computer and a computer program to do the job, we were already substituting jobs. So this is not new, okay? But now AI is not only substituting this low-level task, but is getting into higher-level task. And then what I think, and this is just a hypothesis, and this is something that I am just now thinking aloud, but this, so we need, how would I say that? Let me open a space here about what is intelligence. That would be, so intelligence is not something that you get when you are born, whether you have it or you don't have it. So intelligence is a list of cognitive processes that you can train. So you can be trained in. Intelligence can be trained. And you know that when we are very young, we are dumb and we learn for whatever reason, but when we get older, we are more intelligent than when we were young. And the problem is that universities, school and universities don't train intelligence. That's the point. That is the key issue for me. And the people that is getting into the market is not trained as intelligent people to use artificial intelligence. And then the gap will be broader than it used to be in the first generation of automation that we had in the 80s or in the 90s with the internet. So now to use artificial intelligence, you need to be really intelligent, meaning that you have to be trained in very specific cognitive processes to do a good use of artificial intelligence. And that's the challenge. So how we train people to be intelligent, that they are able to use artificial intelligence efficiently. Because artificial intelligence, honestly, and will be very long to talk here now, it's not intelligent. It's a huge and powerful computer capacity that they can do things that are amazing, but you need intelligent people to manage that. And that's the challenge. And that is the key issue. And nobody is addressing this point, I think.
Interesting. In your company, I'm guessing you're providing trainings on that. Are you training people on develop these AI apps or just to adapt to the reality that is ChatGPT now?
No, we are using ChatGPT marginally yet, because as I told you, I mean, if we are training developers, you need first to train them in the basic developer skills, or data analyst in the basic data analyst skills. They need to really learn and understand what are the basics of the field. And by the end of the program, they are very capable in this field, and then they can start using ChatGPT as a tool to help them do the job better, not to substitute what they do, but to do it more efficiently and do it better.
On your side, as a CEO, what are your top goals for this year?
Well, since we changed this focus and we are pivoting, I completely restructured the marketing strategy last year, and now I am very focused on the new marketing strategy. And my goal now is to keep growing, but growing prudently. I mean, I'm not in a rush. I don't want to become a very large company in a very short period of time. What I really want is to provide a good service, take care of our students, do things right, and grow organically and prudently as much as I can.
Love it. And with your existing team, how do you make sure that you get great humans on boards so that they can stay aligned with the vision of the company and stay on track with their KPIs?
Well, as I told you, I have some experience in hiring people and in knowing people. So, what I know, what in my team, what I like is to have people that they have been students in our programs. They have a life before take our program. Maybe they have some new life after Ubiqum, and then they come back to help, whether as a mentor, as product development, as marketing people, and they know the product, they know how we think, they have the experience, and I mean, nothing more sophisticated than that, and experimenting constantly and keeping a very close relationship.
Tell me a bit more about 3 out of 5.
Well, 3 out of 5 is a venture that we started in the COVID period. So it's with my partner and friend, which is Roman, when he's a person very concerned about environmental issues. And when we were confined, 3 or 4 weeks or more, I don't remember, because I think we in Spain were close to 3 months confined, that we couldn't get out to work. And so we started thinking that one of maybe the only positive thing about being confined was that the city was clean, the air was clean, the birds were singing again. So, I mean, when we were not interacting with the nature did its own job, and everything was clean. And we started thinking that, well, how much will this last? I mean, when we come back to commuting and taking cars, which is what happened, by the way, and we start thinking we could start promoting this idea of remote work. I mean, working 3 out of 5, 3 days at home over 5, two in the office, right? And well, we are starting developing that and creating some tools, because we realized that we had some consulting engagements, people that say, well, I don't know what to do. So my people want to stay at home. I want them to come back. I don't know how to manage that. And we started working on how to help companies on evaluating, designing, and managing this remote work or blended home office and in the office. And that's the idea. I mean, was something that we did a little bit for fun, and that's it.
Love it. Well, Sebas, thank you for the interview today. Where can people find out more about you?
Okay, good. Happy to be here.
And Sebastian Barajas on LinkedIn, I guess, would be a nice place
Yeah,
to
yeah,
chat.
you can, yeah, Sebastián Barajas Casén in LinkedIn. Yes, it's easy to find me. There are many when you think, but anyway, you can, Sebastián Barajas Caseni with Y at the end. And I have my newsletter, my post, and I talk about all these issues.